Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Kurt, aka the Vitruvian Gamer, and today I'm here with a new episode of First PlaYte. First PlaYte? What's that, you might ask? Well, First PlaYte is this series where I do my first impressions of board games. So these are not complete reviews. My opinion might change. My opinion might change if I play with a different player count. So take it with a grain of salt, but still, it is a first impression and those can be very important. The game that I'm going to discuss today is Nova Luna, a game designed by Uwe Rosenberg, who is of course very famous for games like Agricola, Patchwork, a bunch of other awesome huge games, Feast for Odin and all that stuff, and Corné van Moorsel, who is a designer from the Netherlands, so that's always a little bit interesting since I speak Dutch as well. So, without further ado, let's go to the table and see a little overview of Nova Luna. So, this is Nova Luna and its components. Now, I'm not showing you everything, but this is what you get in the middle of the table. This is the board in the middle. This is the time track, actually. So, you're going to see this with these tiles. There are 4 colors of tiles. And you put the moon right over there, this moon marker here. So, what is going to happen, and I set this up for 2 players, as you can see, but you would stack them, so that's what there is. So, the top player, that's the starting player. And what you're going to do in your turn is, you're going to move this moon marker to the one of the 3 next tiles. And if you do, you're going to take that tile, replace it by the moon, and you're going to place that tile that you just took in your tableau. Now the first one you can place anywhere you want, of course, and after you do so, you're going to put your token here on the moon track that many spaces ahead. So in this case, we're going to put them 6 spaces ahead. Now it goes to the next player. The blue player here is next because he's now last in line. He or she will do the same thing, take whatever tile they want, place it in their tableau, but as you can see, they took one of 5, so they're still last, so they get another turn, and they will take one of the next ones there. Now, as you can see, we're not refilling those empty spaces yet. So, for example, let's say after a few turns, the situation is, let's see, like this, right over here. For the white player, they now get to score, because what each tile will do is tell you what they want to have adjacent to them, with a special rule included. So let's take a look at this tile here. This circle here wants a light blue and 2 yellow tiles next to it. Now, as you can see, we have a light blue and 2 yellows next to it. So what we can do is put one of our discs, and I said the white player, but let's make it the blue player. We can put one of these tokens right over here, so we still have 19 tokens to go. And you keep doing that until you are rid of all your discs. But there's a special rule here. If this tile were to be here, then you would still be able to place this token there. Why? Well, you have adjacent a blue, light blue, and a yellow, but if tokens or tiles of the same color are adjacent to each other, and one of them is adjacent to yours that you want to score, then you can count farther ahead. They don't have to be adjacent to your tile, but they can be adjacent to each other. And that only counts for the same color. Not the same color of this tile here, for example, because let's see, if it were something like this here, then this blue tile here, this light blue tile, would score, would score these 2 blue ones, as you can see, because one of them is adjacent and the other one is connected to the other one. Again, they need to be the same color. Now, if at the beginning of your turn there are only 1 or 2 tiles left on the moon track, you are allowed to refill everything. If you don't, well, no problem, you can still choose between those 2 tiles. If you do, you put everything there and you have choice between, again, the next 3 tiles that are available. If at the beginning of your turn every one of these are empty, then you have to refill the board. And you keep playing this, you keep moving on the time track and skipping and flipping. By the way, if you're on top of another player, you're still first in order. So in this case, white would go first before blue can do anything else. You keep doing this until a player has got rid of all their tokens by placing them on certain tokens or tiles. If a tile has multiple of these scoring things, they can be scored multiple times. So for example, if you play this right, you could somehow have 3 discs on one tile. If before someone get rid of all their discs there are no more tiles to be taken, then the game ends as well, and the player with the least amount of discs will win the game. So, what do I think of Nova Luna? Well, as you might have heard, I pretty much liked it. It is an abstract strategy game, so it's not my favorite kind of game. I do like a couple of them. Of course, Azul is one of that comes to mind. Patchwork maybe as well, who that was an influence to this game, especially with the timer mode, where you're going ahead on the track, and if you're last, it's your turn, and you might get multiple turns, or you might have to wait quite a while until it's back your turn. I really like that mechanism. It works. It is a great way to balance a game, because, well, if you want those better tiles and can score you multiple things, you'll have to pay time for it, and you might have to wait before it's back to you, and you might see tiles that you want disappear. So it is pretty cool. I don't know in our first game how much we were looking at other players to see what they need. I think we didn't do much of that, but I guess especially when playing 2 players, it will be more of looking back and forth to see what you need, but also to see what the other player might need, and maybe stop that player from getting it, or forcing him to take expensive tiles so you will have more choice, and maybe look a few turns ahead to see to be sure that you can grab a couple of tiles as well, a couple of tiles that you can use. Now, the rulebook was pretty clear, not perfect, I must say. There were a few things that I had to reread a few times, but for the most part it was pretty clear. The hardest thing to explain is definitely how you can have how you are connected to one color if they're next to each other. So you don't have to be adjacent to multiple cards or tokens from the same color in order to be considered adjacent to them. And it only works if they are from the same color, not if you have different colors connected in like a snake or in a line. So that's the hardest thing to explain, and but besides that, it works very smoothly. Not a difficult game to teach at all, and it plays really quickly as well. The box says 30 minutes. The first time I think we did a little bit more than 30 minutes, but there was a rules explanation in there, and sometimes we had to remind ourselves how that rule that I just explained worked. But besides that, 30 minutes for sure. If playing with 2 players, I think it might be even faster. Components, they are pretty good. There's not much going on. You have tiles, they are good. You have the discs. They're wooden discs. You can't do much wrong there. And you have the middle of the table. You have the board there where you put your time track and the moon token, which are all decent quality. Nothing to complain there. The artwork, there's not much of artwork, of course, to be had here, and what is there has a certain style, as you can see on the cover, and it works just perfect. There is one thing that might have been nice to have in this box as well, and that's a cloth bag or something where you could put the tiles in to draw them out of, which might be easier than each game stack them in some piles and then draw them. Also to put them back in the box. Now it's divided into 3 bags, 3 plastic bags. It comes with bags, so you're supplied, but still it might have been pretty neat and maybe $5 more expensive to have a nice big cloth bag where you can pull out the tiles of. But besides that, the components are top notch, and of course now most important, the gameplay. Gameplay is very smooth, very easy. Of course sometimes you need to be sure that you've seen everything that you score, because after a while you're getting more and more tiles and you might score tiles that you placed a bunch of turns before. So there you might go wrong, and of course the first place you can consider this something that can happen, and you will allow take backsies. But I think if you play with people who play this game multiple times, it might even be worth not allowing that in the future, or maybe if they spot it later they are allowed to do so. But if they don't spot it and at the end of the game they didn't win because of that, it's all on them. It's part of the game, right? You can play this however you want. Anyhow, gameplay very smooth, very simple actually, and very fast. So what is my opinion of this game, of this first date? So this has a rating from worst date ever to love at first sight, and this game I definitely rank in let's take this a step further. So I really want to play this game more. I want to see how this plays with 2 players. Is it love at first sight? No, I think there are more interesting games out there, but it is very high. This is just beyond a game that I really love. So this is a really cool game. As I said, it's in the vein of Azul, it's in the vein of Patchwork. Very smooth, very interesting, simple, but still intriguing gameplay. And that's why it got nominated for Spiel des Jahres as well, I guess. So if you like these types of games that don't take too much but still are pretty thinky at sometimes, but not too crazy, well, Nova Luna might be something for you. I will play this more in the future, that's for sure. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, feel free to thumbs up, feel free to comment, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, push that subscribe button, and if you want to see more as it arrives on this channel, push that bell icon as well. Thank you for watching this episode of First PlaYte. Hope to see you soon. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.